What is poppin', y'all? We are back with another episode of the Squid Game, the Challenge Season 2 Aftermath Podcast. I am your host, DeAndre from Season 1, and we're here to break down the players of the game and talk about their journey and what they had to do in their trials, tribulations, and whatnot throughout the game. My next guest, she was an iconic player. She went out in dramatic fashion. There's been a lot of dramatic deaths, but hers was like top 5 dramatic of everything because they spent a whole like cliffhanger on it. When you get left on a cliffhanger, that means you know that you had dramatics going down. Because I was left on a cliffhanger too. So without further ado, I introduce Miss Julie Schuster, player 443. What's poppin', Julie?
Hey, hi everybody. Thanks for having me on. I'm like super excited about this.
I'm excited too. We get to break it down with you, and the
Yo,
dramatics.
I know the dramatics that everybody thinks is acting, but really it's not.
Exactly. So if you think it's acting, studios call her right now and get her on this sitcom and shows because she can do it. She can do everything. So Julie, I'm gonna go through your player profile real quick. I don't know if you looked at it yourself. You have a great pic. You guys have great pictures too, by the way, way better than ours. But so you are from Texas,
Yep, South Texas.
South Texas, Libra. Happy late birthday.
Thank you.
And then you're self-employed. So can you get into that maybe?
Yeah, so I'm actually a retired Border Patrol agent. Okay, a lot of people don't know that, but yeah, I'm retired law enforcement. So self-employed, like I own my own Etsy shop. I've got a laser machine. I do a lot of crafting stuff that just kind of gets me out of my zone. And so yeah, I'm very hands-on. I like to just keep working, keep doing stuff, keep making money. So that's just me.
That's awesome. Hey, she's a boss, man. She's a boss working for herself. Y'all use that as inspiration. I always tell people to do your own thing, start your own business. It's fine to work for companies and whatnot, but I think it's always important to have your own thing as well. She got plenty of it going down. So we about to learn a lot more than just the Squid Game going down right now. Julie, why? And then also, well, I guess you just mentioned you're a retired Border Patrol agent. That says in your bio as well. So why did you decide to audition for Squid Game, the Challenge Season 2?
So, okay. So my first thing was like I wasn't even into the whole like Squid Game series, like the actual series. It was my 22-year-old daughter who said, "Hey mom, like I know you like documentaries. I know you like, all that true crime stuff." She's like, "But you're going to really like, this series called, Squid Games, blah blah blah." And so I'm not like into the whole Korean stuff. I just like I'm not, right? And I'm like, all right, I'll give it a chance. So I just remember watching it. And then one day, like, I'm on the treadmill and I'm watching them play marbles. And I'm just like crying my eyes out, like when the Indian guy gets like tricked and eliminated. And I'm like, fuck this. Like, this is so sad. And then I was just like hooked, I was like, oh my God, I can't even. So then when I saw there was a reality show, I was just like, what? Like, where was this even to apply for? Yeah, it was like, what? Where was this? I would have applied. And then when I found out you could apply for season two, that's when I was like, you know what? Like one thing I noticed was that there wasn't a lot of Latina presence. I was like, there wasn't any Latinas on there, so that's why I was like, you know what? They need more Latina presence, so I'm gonna apply, and then I'll think about the money later, right? And so really pretty much was I wanted to represent our Latinas, and then also after thinking about it, because you never know, there you could be the winner of, $4.56 million. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do with the money, right? But that's why I wanted to apply for season two. Was I think we needed more Latina presence in there.
I think so too. I'm thinking back on season one. I don't remember too many up
Right?
in there. I mean, I'm one
Right?
fourth Mexicano. I mean, but people can't see that through the TV. They just
Yeah,
see a
yeah,
brother,
yeah, exactly.
So that don't really
Exactly.
count. Yeah, no, definitely. I'm glad they brought you on there to show out and represent because I did make a note. I made notes on every episode when I recapped them. Like, oh, we got a Latina up in here. She's bringing the
Yes, I
spice.
know, I
I was like,
know.
okay.
So, like, all my community saw it. They were like, "Oh shit!" They're like representing the RGV. Like everybody was just super excited. They were so excited.
Facts, facts. And so, can you? I had it. This is a new question I'm asking because I had it requested by one of my viewers. So, can you explain your audition process for the people who's thinking about auditioning for season 3. What was yours like?
Yeah, so for me, honestly, like I was just myself, and I told them, hey, I'm a mom of three, retired law enforcement. I'm a loud, proud Latina. I made sure to throw that in there. I was like, I'm a loud, proud Latina. Like I speak my mind. I'm always up to help the good guy. So, I mean, I just basically said like who I was, but I did make sure to add that I was very passionate about um, being a Latina and loud and speaking, what was on my mind. And yeah, I mean, that's what I remember from my interview was just letting them know that, and that I'm fun and that I'm always up for, something new and exciting. And yeah, that, things really don't scare me. So yeah,
I ain't hear y'all. Be original and talk about,
pretty
your true
much,
self. That's the key
pretty
what she's
much.
saying. Yeah. So she was true to herself and that's why she made it through. So you go through the casting process, you get through the whole nine, you find out you're on the show. It's the night before that you leave to get on the plane to London. What's going through your head?
Oh my gosh. I actually took videos because I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna take videos of this just in case, I go missing. But I'm still thinking like, bro, I'm gonna get kidnapped. Like I know y'all have seen those movies where people get kidnapped, and I was like, listen, I'm Latina, I'm not from there. People can kidnap me. I don't know what they're gonna do. But I was like really terrified. But at the same time, I was super excited. I was like packing my bags and everything. And I felt terrible at the same time because, my 10-year-old, she's like super attached to me. And I felt bad just knowing that like I was going to leave her and I didn't know for how long. So those of you that have kids, like just leaving them for any amount of time, you just kind of feel guilty. So I started to feel a little bit guilty, excitement. There was just a lot of different emotions. And I really couldn't even sleep. Like the night before my flight, I was just thinking of everything, like, fuck, like, what if I go out there? What if, my husband's like, you better not come home on the first day, And so it's like, fuck, what if I do? Like, what? How embarrassing. Like, what if I let everybody down? And so there's just a lot of emotions, a lot of thoughts just kind of going through your head?
Yeah, facts. It's a lot to think about, especially with the months coming up because there's a lot. It's a long process. You got to go to the doctor's office. You got to fill out
Oh my God.
paperwork. You got to do interviews. You practicing for the games maybe too, rewatching the shows, getting notes as much as you can. So it's a
Oh
lot.
yeah,
It's a
for sure.
lot.
I watched y'all seasons. I don't know how many times. I was just okay. This, okay. And I know I put there like in the comments. What would you like to say? I'm like, y'all better not put Brighton back on this season because I have a big mouth. I was like, and I will say something. Like I just remember putting that in there, and I told my sister, I was like, dude, they better not put that guy back on there. I was like, because I have a lot to say to him. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was a long, long process. And I was just like, dude, if I'm doing all this stuff, I better get picked. Like, that's all I know. I better get picked.
Facts. Well, you
Yeah.
did make it, so that's a whole congratulations in itself. And so you fly over to London. It's your last night in the hotel till you get in the dorms. Tell me now what's going through your head.
So, the last night in the hotel before they take us like to the studio, to the actual studio. So I was so scared that I was not gonna wake up, like when they knocked on my door. So I couldn't even sleep, and that's because I had taken like sleep medication with me because, of course, there's a big time difference in London. So I'm like sleeping in my tracksuit because they're like, you better, you got to wear this, you got to do this, you got to be ready, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like sleeping in my tracksuit because I'm like, I know I'm not going to get any sleep. So I just want to make sure that I'm ready. And then it was so confusing because they were like, okay, in this bag, you're going to pack this, in this bag, you're going to pack this, and in this bag, you're going to pack this. And so it was just like, you're thinking of so many other things that you're like, fuck, I forgot, what do I pack, like what did they say goes in this bag and what did they say goes in that bag. And so it's just like it's so nerve-wracking, and you're just like waiting for that knock on the door. Like we have no idea what time they're going to knock on that door and wake us up.
To sit in anticipation station. But they do come knocking, you pick up, and then it's time to get to the dorms. So when you first walk into the dorms, tell me what's your first thoughts.
So when I walk into the dorms, first off, like right before they even put us in, I know that everybody, like we were all looking at each other. Good luck, good luck, good luck, because we thought we were playing red light, green light. And I know that a shit ton of us practiced in our hotel rooms. Like, do not move, right? Like, we were just like, oh my God, I feel so dumb. But still, like, we were practicing the you were play red light, green light, and that they were letting us in kind of, like 10 at a time so we could line up. That's what we were thinking. But our group was actually one of the first ones to go into the dorms. So we had a long wait time and we didn't know that. But as soon as I walked in, I was like, fuck, like this is real. Like, oh my God. And I'm sure right? Like looking at the dorms, you're just like, oh shit, like I'm here. This is real. Like, what am I doing? What are, who do I talk to? Like, what am I gonna do? And it was just like an overwhelmingly feeling of just like excitement and the unknown was still ahead, but I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just thinking like, okay, all right, game time, who am I talking to, whatever, whatnot. And after a while I just remember myself walking up the stairs onto a balcony and I was like, I'm just going to stand up here and I'm just going to watch everybody that comes in here. I'm just going to watch everybody's body language and just kind of go with that. So yeah.
Who were some of the players you were close with when you entered?
Oh my God. Some of the players I was close to was, and I don't have their numbers, of course, there's so many numbers, but I know Jeff was one of, my boys, Isaiah, Julia, which we all became like an alliance. Agnes, of course, Agnes and Jeff picked, they were O's, they picked O. And so unfortunately they left pretty early. But yeah, there was a few of us there, a set of twins. We didn't even know they were twins because they looked a little bit different. So I was like, dude, I would have never guessed y'all were twins. And then another pair of twins that actually were Bryce and I can't remember his brother's name. I feel terrible, but yeah, they were the ones that we were close to.
Cool. You got some little team going on right now, and
Oh
so
yeah.
you're in there mingling. The guards soon come out and they announce we need y'all to get in a line of X's or O's, and now choose your fate. And so, tell me, you picked X. Why'd you pick X?
So honestly, like at first I was gonna pick O just because my husband's favorite color is blue. But then I was like, you know what? Like, maybe this is such a good idea. Like, I don't know. Something just kept telling me like most of our alliance was picking X. So I wanted to stay with the group that had most of our alliance in it because I felt like, okay, this is the bigger group. And if anything, I'm going to be safer over here. So that's why I decided to pick X. But initially I was going to pick O. And I was like, I'm so glad that I picked X. I'm so glad.
She was glad, and she went
Woo!
in the room. She left, and they announced that the game is counting. You must count to 456. If you go over, you're out. When you heard these rules, what were you thinking?
So again, I'm kind of like in the back of the room because I'm very observant. Okay. Like I like to just observe everything, see whatever everything's going on. And from what I hear, like our room was not as crazy and fighting as the O room. I'm sure you've heard already, but there was like a lot of drama over there. But for us, there was a lot of different ideas being thrown out, but it wasn't like super crazy. Um, and so yeah, I'm like listening to what everybody is saying, and then John T finally screams like, "Hey, everybody! Like we have to, let's go, mindset. We got to come up with something. We're here for a reason. Blah blah blah. John T, whatever." And so finally, they're like, "Okay, these are musicians. Let's let them count." Which, by the way, like the counter Isaiah, that's my boy. Taylor, that's my girl. Like all of them that were there, that those were part of our alliance. They did their thing, man, and I stayed in the back. I was quiet. I was counting as they were clapping, and I think everybody was counting. And so yeah, it was very very intense moment. And when they said that only group one, that was fucking intense. That I was like, please don't let me go home, please. Like I don't want to embarrass my kids, because I know their friends are going to be like, bro, your mom went home on the first day, goodbye. So yeah, yeah,
Uh, she was like, "Look, I can't have y'all being bullied at school because of my mishaps. We're gonna have to get it
exactly,
together." Well,
exactly.
well, you do succeed and pick the correct group with the correct leaders, and you make it through. So, congrats on making it through the first game. You get through the dorms, and you get back, and you find out that 431 is returning as well. How do you feel about that?
Um, Again, I'm in the balcony, and when he came out, I just remember like looking at my girl Julia, and I told her, I was like, dude, this is not good. Like this is not good. Because again, I'm observing. And so I just see them walking around and like they're like doing this and talking and whatever. And I knew they were up to something. So I was like, bro. Like I'm staying as far away from them as I possibly can. Because they were talking to people. And honestly, throughout the whole game, I think maybe I said two words to them or they said two words to me and then I walked away. Because I wasn't having any of that. Like I already knew these two were gonna be big players in this game, and I just didn't want them to know who I was, at least at this point. Like I wanted to get my chance to eliminate them, and then they'd be like, "Damn, who was that?" Like out of nowhere. But I tried to stay as far away from them. But yeah, when they brought him back, I knew it wasn't.
She was scheming in the back. She's like, I see
Oh
y'all and
yeah,
I'm planning, I'm
for
plotting.
sure, for sure.
And so, they have a decision to make. They either obviously eliminate themselves or they pick three people to eliminate. And they eliminate 285, 286, and 107. When you found that out, what were you thinking?
So 285 and 286, those are our boys, right? Those were our boys right there. That was like super sad. But I just remember like I'm standing right in front of them and like I thought somebody threw up or something because it was just like so loud, it's not like a throw up. And I like turn around and then that's when I see Bryce and his, he had black hair and I'm like, what the fuck? Like what's going on? And then I was like, oh shit. That's when I realized he had just been eliminated, right? But I was not expecting his brother to get eliminated as well. And so then when his popped, I was like, oh, fuck no. Like, we all know who this was. Like, all of us. And I was salty. Like, I really was salty because I'm like, dude, you could have been more strategic as to who it was you were going to pick. Like, I mean, at least pick one, but pick somebody else from another team, not both of these twins. But I knew they were up to no good. We all kind of knew it was them. And so I wasn't a fan of them right off the bat.
Yeah, twin on twin crime. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Hey,
I wouldn't have done that either. Look, get one of them, get one of the twins, and maybe get one like a mother son or something like that. Like,
or
why?
yeah, or get
What
the
good is it
the
eliminating both twins?
exactly. I would have gotten freaking Kurt or Zoe. You know what I'm saying? Like the dad daughter team.
Facts.
I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
get one of them from each team because then now, like they only have one person trying to go for that money. So, but that's just
facts.
me.
No, you're totally correct. You're totally correct.
That's
She's thinking smart. And so that goes through, and then the next game is soon to begin, and you guys have to enter the white room and divide in groups of 10. Tell me how that went down for you.
So at this point, of course, it's like early on in the game, so none of us are really thinking strategically, right? We're all thinking like, oh fuck, like everybody grab your friends, grab a group of 10, everybody grab a group of 10. And so our alliances, we're like, okay, grab 10, grab 10. So we all grab 10 and we're all in a row, not thinking anything. And, we honestly didn't know what the game was until they finally took us to the set. And I'm sure right? Like that they keep you waiting for like ever. So our team was the last one to go, and we didn't play until like 2 a.m. We were the last team to go. So we were just watching team after team after team go, and we're just waiting there, like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? And then finally they call us up, to go to the set, and we just see like each other, like us 10 there, and we're like, okay, like who are we playing? What's going on? And so yeah, when they just like split us up like this, I was like, fuck. Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, he sliced y'all up, man. He sliced y'all up. And so you
They
get
did.
in there, you get sliced up. Some of your friends are there, some of your friends are with you, and they explain the game. And the game is six-legged pentathlon. You have the five games: ball in a cup, flying rock, gongi, house of cards, and jeji. How did you guys determine which games each spot everybody would do, and why did you pick what game you did?
Oh my God. This game has me so traumatized. So when we figure out like we each have to pick a game, right? Of course, we're all like in a little circle, like, okay, who's gonna do what? And so for me, I was like, well, like I knew, like I had been practicing gongi for like ever, like even here at home, everything. Once I found out I was picked, I'm like, I'm ordering this shit at Amazon. Let's go. I'm practicing in the hotel, everywhere. But Eric, he's like, I'll do gongi. And so I look at him And so he's like, yeah, I can do gongi. And so, but he said it with so much confidence that we're like, okay, cool. That he has gongi. I was like, well, then I can do rock, I guess, I mean, it seems like another good game I can do. And so, Julia's like, I'll do cards because she has little hands. And Natalie Cup, and then Isaiah, he did, the kick. And we're like, okay, cool, we're all set, right? So then they take us out and they put us in another room where we had to have like headphones on so we couldn't talk to each other. So there's no way for us to be like, are you sure? Like, you sure? So it was just like, okay, everybody had picked their game. That was that. So then they bring us back out on the set to finally play. And so when they're tying us up, I just remember looking at Eric and somebody asked him, hey, so you've played gongi before, right? And he's like, no, this is my first time. And I swear, like, as soon as he said that, I turned around and I looked at Natalie and I'm like, we're so fucked. And she's like, what? And I'm like, he's never played gongi before. She's like, no way. And I'm like, he just said right now, this is his first time playing. I was like, we're fucked. We're so fucked. Like, we're done. We're losing. That's it. Like, I had just accepted my fate. I was like, we are done. I couldn't believe that. I'm like, he said it with so much confidence that we were like, okay, dude, like we thought like he played. We're like, all right, he's got this. And so that was the moment when I knew my life was over. So
The
yeah,
dramatics,
I was like,
I see where the
oh,
drama's coming from now. I see why they
yeah.
gave you the most dramatic one.
I was like, so we're like, what the, like, why didn't they show that? It was so dramatic. Mm.
Hey, look, they said we got something else in store for you.
Yeah, I
When they was
guess.
editing, the stuff, like we ain't gonna torture her too much, but we'll give her something.
Well,
And
I know
so,
they got me like on camera crying because I was just like crying hardcore after I threw that rock, and I'm like, okay, dude, like we're ahead, let's go, let's go. And then once he got to that gongi, it was like life's over, man. I was like, life's over.
well, it
Yeah.
wasn't over, was it?
No, it wasn't. But there was a lot of drama. I know, like Eric looked over at one point and saw that now they were ahead of us because first they were behind us, and he saw they were ahead of us, and he's like, "Oh my God, they're ahead!" And I actually got that tattooed on me. He's like, "Oh my God, they're ahead!" And I poor Isaiah, bless his heart. He's like, "No, they're not. No, they're not." And I just look over at Eric, and I'm like, "Yes, the fuck they are, Eric. Hurry up." Hurry up. And the camera's like right here. And I'm like, go. Poor Eric. And he got it. He got it. So bless his heart.
Yeah, bless his heart, because else you would have had something to
Oh
say to
my
him after we was
God.
done.
Oh my God. It would have been terrible. It would have been very bad for him.
Very bad. Well, fortunately, he gets it together. Y'all finish that. You get the House of Cards, and you get the Jeji done. So congratulations, y'all make it through and eliminate the other team. You are moving on. And
Yeah.
so, when did you guys decide to jump or walk when you were going through the pentathlon?
No, we decided to walk. So Natalie had like a really good way of like how we should walk, which was awesome because yeah, it worked out perfectly for us.
Nice, nice, nice. And so you get through that, you finish off, you get back to the dorms, and soon, well, before you get back to the dorms, I will say, did you have any close friends on the other team that lost? Like,
Yes.
who were you? Yeah.
Yeah, it was like super sad. I was so like, of course, it's like exciting and everything, but then you like turn around after we hit the finish line, you turn around and then you see your friends because they were so close too. Like, I mean, they were extremely close. And just like seeing them, I was like, no, and it was just like, fuck. Like, yeah, it was one of those, but yeah, it was hard. It was very, very hard because then you see a part of your alliance like gone.
Yeah. Especially, being the last one too. You guys had all that anticipation. I can only imagine,
Yeah, we were tired too. I was like, oh my God, like I just want to go to bed.
Well, you do get back and get a little bit of sleep, but then that morning music comes and plays on, and soon there is a front man comes. Well, these y'all don't see this, but the show shows a front man footage, and he opens a secret door, and that door's to the boiler room. And some people go back there and they see what's going on with this candy or this vending machine. And when this happens, did you hear about this when it initially happens?
Yeah, yeah. So Ryan, which is one of our players,
272.
272, yeah. So he's the one that came out and was like, "Hey, we got cookies and all this stuff," trying to hand out cookies to everybody, him and Joan. And I wasn't about to grab a cookie because yeah, you just like never know. But I just remember walking past that room like every single time, like, please open that door. Like please open that door. Like I need to see what's in there, please. Like if it's an elimination, I'm ready to eliminate somebody. Like open that door right now. But no, I'd walk in and it was always like locked or closed, and I didn't want anybody to see me trying to open it. So yeah, that's how we found out about that boiler room.
And tugging on that thing, like, look.
Oh, like, but no, yeah.
Well, soon the guards come back out and they announce that there's going to be a vote, and they announce the slowest players in each game must come up to the stand, and it's 180, 89, 40, 344, and 289. Were you friends with any of these players?
Yeah, so I was friends with Eric. He had like the colored hair, so I can't remember like their numbers. He had the slowest of course, of Gongi, and then Jarrell. So Jarrell had the
Ball and
ball
cup.
and the cup. So those two were our friends, but of course, like the musician, he's the one that really, like we're here because of him. So yeah,
Yeah, and everyone must vote to either keep them or eliminate them. And they start from highest number to lowest number. So you're going to be early to vote on this.
yeah.
And tell me kind of how that went down in your perspective.
So I already knew, like, just the kind of person that I am. Like, I already knew what I was going to vote for, right? Like, I've got two of my great alliances on there. There was no way that I was going to vote X. And I just kind of feel that this is where everybody's true colors were going to start to come out. And I know that there were some people in our alliance that were like, no, we're all going to vote O. We're all going to vote O. Let's do this. Like, we'll keep them. Well, some of those people ended up voting X. And so I had a really big problem with that. But yeah, I decided to vote O, and there were other people that decided to vote O as well. And at some point, I realized, like, all right, they're going home because there's more X's than O's, of course. So at that point, no matter how many people voted O, we knew that they were going home.
How did you feel about the certain people who were like skipping up there, dancing up
Oh my God, that
there?
was fucking
Like,
stupid. I'm like, dude, you're fucking dumb. Like, that's how I felt, honestly. I was like, that's just like an insult. You're like insulting these people that you're just like having fun, and you're going to push the X right in front of their faces. So I thought that was the stupidest thing ever. And what they don't show is the one that was like skipping Chris. He was like skipping, and I'll tell him this to his face, but he's like skipping, and he was like, he did it with his head or whatever the first time he missed. Like he missed the X, and we all started laughing at him. So he had to like do it again. And I'm like, that's what you get, dumbass. But yeah, I thought it was so stupid. It was so disrespectful. I'm like, dude, I would never go up there and dance and whatever. Like, yeah, that was dumb.
yeah, I was shocked when I saw that. I mean, somebody was hitting the Dougie up there too. I was like, oh my gosh, right in their
Like,
faces. Like,
yeah, I'm
I
like,
know
dude, just eliminate them. Like, we don't need those people.
that's tough, but I mean, Karma came and
I'm
got all
glad
those
you
people.
noticed that, though. I'm glad you noticed that because nobody else has asked me about that. And I'm just like, I'm that kind of person that I'm just like, dude, don't fucking do that. Like, karma comes
Yeah,
your whatever.
that was crazy. I couldn't imagine people doing that in like our season and whatnot. I mean, just so bluntly and like nobody laughed at anyone getting eliminated. It was more so
Like, it
maybe you're
sucks, right?
happy. Yeah, it sucks and like whatever, but it wasn't that kind of like
Yeah.
showboating.
Yeah.
So I was crazy, but
Yep. It sure
I
was.
just couldn't believe it. But they get eliminated, and now there's 107 players left, so you're basically in the top 100. Congratulations! And soon, I don't know if you noticed this, but I'll ask you: Did you notice that Jonty was like putting on a little show?
Oh my God. He's such an actor. I can't with him. Like, like even after the show, I found out that some of these people were like on Survivor or this or this. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, no wonder some of these people were like, oh my God, it's so and so from, this show or this show. And I'm like, I'm just a mom, okay? Like, I don't have freaking 2,000 followers or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not all these, like, the twins also, I guess they have like a huge following, and I don't know any of these people. And I felt so left out sometimes because, some people are like, yeah, we're from the like survival gang or this and this. And I'm like, dude, I stopped watching that a long time ago because I just felt like it was the same thing. So it's just like, sorry, but Jonty, he's such an actor. I can't with him.
He is funny. I had a chance to meet him last night, so I
Oh
got
my
to
God.
see.
Yeah. He's hilarious. Like I love him. I absolutely love him. But oh my gosh, just putting on that show of, I'm like, I'm crying in the back. I'm like, Shanti, shut the hell up. Like, behave.
Facts. You had to get them together. You had to get them
Yeah.
together.
I'm like, be quiet.
And so soon we get a voice, the voice above, as I call it, and they get a choice. You guys get a choice to pick a regular meal or a scratcher. Tell me, why'd you pick what you picked?
Listen, I'm Mexican, okay? Us Mexicans, we like to play bingo. We like loteria. We like scratch offs. We like
Oh, I
taking our.
know.
Listen. We like taking our chances at all this stuff. And even when that part aired, I paused it and my family right away knew. They're like, you picked the scratch off, didn't you? And I'm like, I sure did. Like, I picked the scratch off. There was no way that I was going to pass that up. So I decided to pick the scratch off, but I wish I had been like ahead of the line because every single number that I wanted, people were already taking it. Like other players were already taking it. So I was like, fuck, like I'm gonna have limited tickets to pick from. So I don't even remember which one I picked, but I'm glad that I picked the one that I did pick. So yeah.
So what did you end up getting?
So I ended up getting coins and I was ready to use those. But apparently other people that got coins, they were not ready. So yeah,
You had to get them together. You should have got them together.
I did. So all of us that got coins, like they sent us to the boiler room and we were like, oh shit, and I was excited. I was like, okay, this is the room. And what they don't show you is that I was looking under everything. And I'm like, okay, what's under here? What's under here? Let me answer the phone. Ain't nobody there. Hang it up. Okay. Like I was looking everywhere to see if there was like clues or anything. And so when we saw that box and it said, 10 coins, you get to eliminate somebody, like the others that were there were like, yeah, we're just not ready. We're not ready. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I like, let's go. Like, let's use these coins, you guys. Like, we need to get somebody out. Cause I was ready to get one of those twins out. So I was like, let's do this. Let's be strategic. But I didn't say nothing because I'm like, all right, I don't want anybody to think I'm like an asshole. So I'll just sit back here and I'll just say, okay, well, I'll just save my coins. Like I wasn't going to use them for anything. I was like, I'll just save them for when I need them. So
Could have used them to get some candy.
nah, I wanted to use them for something else. So that's how I was like, I'll save these because what if there's more coins later on that I can win? So
Yeah, and you had the right idea. I mean, when you get some coins like that, you kind of got to use them because you don't know how long you have left to live, and so you might as well use them
exactly.
when you get them. There's no
Yep,
saving for
exactly.
tomorrow. So I just think they were playing a little safe in that instance with the coins, and which isn't the brightest thing. I mean, you've seen what happened to people here on before, and so it could happen to you tomorrow. But you have these
Yeah,
coins in your pocket, and you're leaving your home with the idol, essentially.
exactly. Exactly. So yeah.
Well, soon the second game is getting ready, and y'all head up out of there and get to the white room again. And when you get in there, there's four different colored boxes: yellow, purple, blue, and pink. And it's time for you to decide to pick on a stand on a marker. So tell me, when you got in there and you seen this, why'd you pick what color you picked, and how'd you formulate?
So we picked pink. So myself and my alliance, we picked pink because we're calling ourselves like the pink squad, right? And so we decided to pick pink and we were like, all right, so we're definitely not going to pick the side of the people that got the two disadvantages and the scratch off tickets because two people got a disadvantage. So we were thinking like wherever they go, we stay away from. So it looked like they were picking yellow. So, and it went faster than everybody thinks. Like, as soon as they announced, like, hey, you have, like 5 seconds to pick, your dot, it was like, oh shit. Like, everybody kind of went in panic mode. And you just saw people like running to a dot. And I just remember, like, most of our alliance, we had already said pink. So we stuck with pink and we just found a dot. And so it's like I'm standing next to some people that I really have never talked to. I don't know who they are. I think one guy was like a surfer and the other girl I don't even know. But I don't like at this point right here, like I'm not next to Mark whatsoever. Like it's just random. Everybody was just random. That's it, right? That's how we thought we were going to play the game was depending on what spot it was that we were on. So yeah, that's how we picked our spots.
Okay, okay. She had a strategy going in there. And so when you pick that, they announced 111, 118, and 82 are not playing because they don't have dots. Did you think that they were going to get eliminated?
No, I didn't. I honestly didn't think that they were going to get eliminated. Like, I was like, there has to be something else. And once I found out that they were not going to be eliminated, I'm like, fuck, why didn't I just Why didn't I just wait it out? But it's always those like what if moments, what if, right? And so, yeah, but no, I had a feeling that they weren't going to be eliminated.
Yeah, they let a lot of people skip games this season. You know,
Yeah, they did.
they doing a lot of skipping games. The only games that people were allowed to skip for our season was only one group or one person skipped marbles, and that was
Oh,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, one guy skipped it, and they didn't even show that on TV because yeah, everyone else played everything else. Yeah, so
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they don't show, right? That you're just like, what the, yeah.
facts. And so you guys get in there and they explain the rules. The game is catch, and each group must line on colored dots, throw the ball to the front of the line. If the ball is dropped by the thrower, then the catcher and the thrower are eliminated. So when you heard these rules, now what you thinking?
So, our team and I, and again, there are people on our team that I've never spoken to, but I've seen them, right? Like, and they mainly had their alliance with the twins. And so I was kind of curious, like, how did they end up on our line? But whatever, I guess, that fast moment when they're like, pick a color, these people just came to our color. But I know in that moment where they're like, okay, so now you guys have to decide like who's gonna stand where, blah blah blah. And so that's when Ryan, player 272, comes up with this bright idea. And you can see my face too. Like I know my family, my friends, they took screenshots of my face and they tell me all the time, they're like, dude, if you don't say what's on my mind on your mind, like your facial expressions, they say it. And I can see that like throughout the season, I'm like looking at my face in certain shots and I'm like, damn, I know what I was thinking there. But I like my mouth dropped. Like in that moment, my mouth dropped because of course, like it kept going on more than what they actually showed. And so I'm kind of glad they didn't show like the whole thing. But finally somebody was like, hey, you're not going to do that. You're not going to, single out Mark. You can't be saying, that people judge him and how he looks. And that's why he should be in the front of the line. Like, because Viper said the same thing to his team, but he didn't single anybody out. He was just saying, like, hey, like, if you're not an athlete, if you can't catch balls, get in the front, and this was more like targeting one person because of how they looked. And so, of course, that was wrong. And so Mark leaves and he's crying, and he actually leaves the set crying. So now we're all like, fuck, like now we all feel this like down, like dark cloud over this moment. And production is like, okay, we're going to move you guys into a quiet room. Okay. So nobody talk for like the next hour, which was hard after what just happened. So we're all there. Nobody's talking. But of course, everybody's looking at Ryan. And then, of course, Mark's in the restroom crying. And so people are checking on Mark. And so Ryan probably feels like an asshole. And we're just there kind of like looking, like, what's going to happen next? So when they're like, okay, ready, let's go to the set. I remember Mark telling me because it was supposed to be like myself, Ryan, and then Mark on the dots. And I just remember, like, as we walked out, Mark said, hey, Julie, um, do you mind standing in the middle of me and Ryan? Because I can't stand to look at the back of his head right now. Like, I just can't. And so, me, being me, of course, I'm like, yes, I will stand in the middle so you don't have to look at the back of his head. Not thinking anything, just like, okay, like I'll separate the two of you. Okay. And that's how I ended up in the middle of those two. So,
Interesting. She let their heartstrings get pulled, and that's what happened.
yes, yes, very much so. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, that happens, interestingly. And it would have been cool if they showed a little bit of that, but hindsight, whatever.
Yeah.
They explained there's 16 balls, that's all they have, and then the game's over with. So, every team's coming with their strategies. You guys have yours. Some other teams are trying to play mind games, fake sick, all these
My
things,
God.
craziness. And so, yes, we get what you said about, Mark and 272. And so the game gets started. Now, you're kind of like in the middle back ish.
Yeah.
Decent spot, not like if you comes to you, you got to step up, but
Yeah. I
you
knew I
see
could
all these
catch the
people in front
ball.
of you. Yeah, you could, you trust yourself. And you once you saw the size of the ball, were you like, I got this?
Yeah. I'm like, I got this. Like I may not be the best at sports, but I know I can catch a tennis ball. So, yeah.
Okay, cool, cool. Well, soon the game gets started and the balls are throwing. I don't know how the Twins ended up in front. That was very
Oh my
sus
God.
on y'all.
Listen. Listen, I just posted a video on TikTok about that because they were like playing catch or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, this is how we play catch at home versus how it feels like when you're in the game." And I'm like, "Dude, it does not feel like that in the game when you're at the very front of the line, okay?" And so, of course, that started all this drama on TikTok, and I'm like, "Listen, I'm just speaking my mind. Like, why did you put yourself at the front? I know why, because you're selfish. It's like." Our team, I feel, played with a lot of heart, and maybe that hurt us because our guys like Daryl, Isaiah, all of them, they were like, hey, listen, we're athletes. We can catch a ball. So we'll go to the very back so that way, if anybody throws us the ball, we know we've got this. Like, we have got this. Anybody who can't catch a ball, put them in the very front. And then if you're iffy, put yourself in the middle. So for them to have done that, they told the back of their line, like, hey, don't worry. Nobody's going to throw it back here. Okay. Don't worry, but yet they pretty much threw the ball to their entire blue team to where now you've exposed everybody in the back. So people are going to throw the ball to your team, and then you just saw them dropping like flies. So they had a strategy all along. And then the girls that were in the very front of our line, I'm like salty as hell about this, but the very first girl, her name was Megan on our line. First of all, how did you even get in the pink line? Second of all, you play CrossFit. Third of all, you were throwing balls like a paper ball around with the twins in the dorm. Why the hell did you put yourself in the front of our line? Like, why? Like there's so many things that I'm just like, they don't make sense, dude. But you know what? Whatever. Like, we're already set up in line. It is what it is. So yeah.
Hey, they was playing the game, coach.
They
They was.
was playing the game as dirty as hell. I'm like, dude. I mean, I can't blame them, but still, I'm like, fuck, dude. Come on. You're gonna tell me that, like, when Daryl said, hey, if you're an athlete, put yourself in the back. If you can't catch a ball, put yourself in the front. I'm like, come on, girl. I know you can catch it. Like, I guess like it bothers me because I'm more of like let's be fair for a little bit. I mean, I guess I wasn't really thinking about me, and I hate to even have that mentality because I know that there's people out there that probably need the money way more than I do. But yeah, there's certain things that I'm just like, fuck, man, I wish I could think like that, but I can't.
That's a different mindset. I have problems with that too. A lot of points because if it's obvious that people who can't catch it should be in front, to put myself in the mindset of being like, oh, I'm gonna be selfish. It's just hard to put your. That's just hard to do.
Right.
Unless you just got that.
Yeah. I
Unless you
feel
just
like
got that.
oh I
Yeah.
feel like a total asshole. Like, if people are looking at me and they're like, she can catch a ball, like, why was she in the front? But
They did what's best for
whatever.
them and they made it though. So kudos to them. Kudos to
And
them.
I
But
just
well, the game gets started and everyone, like you said, everyone's making it through that one line, and then 97 throws it to 351, who drops it, and they're the first ones out. So then it's like, oh, this is like real. We're not playing around no more. And so then we get to the next, and it's 272 threw it to 264. He dropped it, and now it's ball number 3 in play. So 383 does it to 82, and then now it's Mark's turn. Mark is
uh,
up. You know?
uh,
It's his turn, and he's talking to himself a lot. He's like, I got this, I got this, I can do it, I can do it. Now, when you saw it was his turn, tell me now what's going through your head.
so I remember, like, right before I even went like up to the middle, I remember, like, I turned around, I looked at him, and I'm like, you have this, right? And he's like, I've got this, don't worry, like, I've got this. And I'm like, you've got this, Mark. And he's like, I've got this. I'm like, all right, because I'm going to throw it to you. Like, okay, cool. So I get to the middle, and like, the people that were like behind me over here, they're already too far. So I was like, I'm definitely not throwing it to them. And then you have Natalie, which I had drama with Natalie, and they didn't show that in the show. Our alliance did not trust her whatsoever. So I was like, I'm definitely not throwing it to her. So then the only person that I could throw it to was Mark. And I was thinking to myself, like, damn, okay, like, this is his moment. Like, if he catches this is going to be his moment. And after everything that he had just gone through, I felt like it was the right thing to do, right? And I get a lot of shit about it. I get a lot from like followers and family and coworkers. They're like, dude, I would not have done that. I'm like, I know, but I'm just like a good person. Like, please. And so it's just like when he said like he'd been bullied and stuff, like I'd been bullied too in school, but for being poor, for like wearing the same clothes every day. So things like that, right? So I could sympathize with him as far as like being bullied. And so I was like, all right, fuck, like this is his chance. I'm gonna throw it to him. It's gonna be like this great moment. Like if I don't throw it to him, then he's gonna think that I don't believe in him. Just a lot of things going through my head, right? I maybe like 90% of me was like, okay, he's gonna catch this. Like he's going to. He has to. I'm gonna give him a perfect throw. And the other 10% was like, fuck, he might drop it. So that's where my headspace was at the moment.
You didn't see his hand shaking? She saw it. She's like, oh, he got it. So it's nothing.
Please,
You can see them hands shaking through the screen.
is your Jesus. Please, like, don't let me down. So it's just, oh my God, I don't know. I was just thinking, like, he's gonna catch this shit. It's a ball. Like, it's a ball. And I say that, but then, like, when, we call him the Viking, when the Viking threw it to me, I was like, fuck, like, it seems far, but it's not. But for $4.56 million, I better catch this shit, like, I better catch it. So it's just more nerve wracking than anybody could ever. Some people are like, you just have to catch a ball, which yes, you do, but there's a lot on the line. So yeah.
Yeah. It's added amplification. I'm sorry I skipped that part where you had the ball thrown to you. How was that catching it from the Viking?
You know what? Like I was nervous, but I was very like I even told him like he was asking everybody, and the people behind him were like, no, no, no. And Natalie was like, well, you can. And I was like, no, throw it to me. Like, I'm good. I've got this. Like, I'll catch it. Like, I'll run for it. Whatever I got to do, like, I will catch it. And he even said, he's like, I threw you a terrible throw. And I'm like, that's okay. Like, I have kids. So it's like, I'm down to try and catch it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna throw it to a parent more than anyone else because they got, they gonna muster up all that energy from the
All
kids
sorts
and
of
whatnot.
skills. All
Yeah,
sorts of skills. So, yeah, I
yeah.
was confident. There wasn't anything in me that was like, oh, I'm dropping this. No, like, I knew I was going to catch it.
So you didn't think about throwing it to Natalie because if she drops it, she's out too. You could win, it's a win lose situation where it's like you might be out if she drops it, but at least she's out too.
I mean,
She she be like, nah, I wasn't thinking like
I know. I
that.
wasn't. I wasn't thinking like that. I was just like, you know what? I do not like you right now because I like her now. But I'm like, I do not like you right now. I do not trust you, and nobody else does. So I'm just gonna go this way. But yeah,
Okay, okay, okay. Well, it's time. It's you ask him many times. Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? And he's like, yeah,
a
yeah,
hundred percent,
yeah, 100%,
a hundred
100%.
percent.
And you're like, okay, like I guess this man got it. I mean, if I put it right here, he's a big dude. He can
Yes,
just corral it
yes,
and not even have to like catch it like that. Even
yes.
put your shirt out. Put your shirt out and catch it like
Do
that. Something.
something.
You
Yeah,
know, anything. And so you get
anything.
ready, you toss it. It's a perfect throw, the perfect throw. And then it bounces off his hands and his chest. And then
Yep.
that's where you get eliminated. So when you saw initially when you threw it and he dropped it, what kind of was like the first feelings you had?
Oh my God. Like as soon, and they don't really show, or maybe they do not sure, but like as soon as that ball dropped, I dropped to my knees. Like I literally dropped to my knees and fucking wailed. Like I was crying so bad because the first person that I thought of was my son, like my 12-year-old, because he was so excited. Like he was just, all about like, mom, you've got this, mom, and I'm so excited and my friends are excited and blah, 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 and so it's like, I just felt like I had let him down. And just to have to tell him like, hey, like I'm coming home, it broke my heart and I couldn't stop crying. And you could just hear like a freaking pin drop. Like you could hear, but you could also hear people crying because it was such a sad moment, and then I just remember Mark running up towards me and giving me a hug, and he's just like saying, I'm sorry, I'm so so sorry. So it's like I felt bad, but I can't even imagine like how bad he felt, that he just like eliminated both of us. So I'm sure he felt, look, I know that he felt so, so bad. So yeah, I mean, it was just such a moment that even producers were crying. Like when they got us out of there, like they were giving me hugs and they were crying and they were like, "You did so good," and blah blah blah. And so it was a very emotional.
I can imagine it was definitely heavy hearts and a lot of weight going on in there. But that's
Yeah.
unfortunately where you got out at ball number three. And so when you get back to the hotel, now how you feeling?
When I get back to the hotel, like I'm still in disbelief. I'm still hoping like that, a player gets to bring in a player, that was just eliminated. I'm like, because I already know my boy Isaiah's got me. He's probably like, oh, I'm bringing back Julie, but it's like I'm still in disbelief and I'm just thinking, okay, like the first thing I want to do is call my kids. Like that's just the first thing I want to do when they give me my phone because they hadn't given us our phones back yet. But they like put us in a circle talking to us about like how we feel and this and this. And I just wanted to make sure that I had a conversation, with Mark before anything because I knew that he just felt terrible that he couldn't even like look at me. And I knew that he was just feeling so fucking terrible. And so I was like, all right, I gotta sit down and I gotta have a conversation with him. So yeah.
Tough blow, tough blow. So when you did get to call your kids, what did you say?
Oh my gosh. I just like FaceTimed my daughter and she answered right away and she's like, Mom, is it you? And I'm like, yes, it's me. And I just look so tired. I look so tired from crying and exhaustion and everything. And she just said, are you coming home? And I said, yes, I'm coming home. And my husband's like, are we rich? I'm like, no, we're not rich. I was like, I did the right thing. I was like, I'm very proud of how I played the game. And he's like, but we're not rich. And I'm like, no, we're not rich. Yeah. He's like, no. I was like, but you will be proud of me, honey. I played like I was supposed to play. And so, yeah. So, like, even now, my husband jokes about Mark and stuff. And so, like, when we see him on TV and he's like, that's the guy. That's the guy that took away that money from me. I'm like,
Mark,
yeah.
don't come to South Texas, Mark.
Yeah, Mark, please don't come here, bro. Please, it will not be good for you.
They got your
Uh,
name on a wanted sign in the neighborhood.
probably, probably.
Well, that's crazy. So you finish up there and you fly back to Texas. And when you get home, now tell me how you feeling.
So it's crazy because, you try to get back into the routine of things and it's hard to get back on a regular sleep schedule. Like I'm sure it was hard. And I didn't even realize it, but my husband's like, man, like, are you okay? And this was like, 2 weeks later. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm fine. He's like, you don't seem like yourself. You're just very quiet and like you seem like depressed or something, and I didn't even realize it that I guess I was somewhat different. And it took me a little bit longer to get back into like my routine and who I was and to be like my loud, happy self. And I don't know if it was just like my body coming back from all that adrenaline and getting back to normal and sad that I didn't win. And I'm thinking like, I wonder who won. And you can't contact any of your friends who you met there. You have to like wait for all that. And so, um, life was definitely different for quite a while. I felt like lonely or something. It was really weird. It was really
Yeah,
weird.
no, you definitely. I mean, when you're around all these people, you don't have your phones, you don't have any outside distractions. And so you're kind of able to live life in a certain way that you never have lived it before in the fact of just and also being confined to where you're not in prison or anything like that, but at the same time you also have like a dream right in front of you and then all these
Hmm.
other things going on, and when that's kind of like stripped away in a way that you feel like is kind of unjust, it
Right.
hurts a lot and you're really in your head, you're replaying things again and again
Yeah.
and again.
You have dreams about
And
it, right?
yeah,
Like you
you have
have
dreams about
dreams
it.
of what could have.
Yeah, and you
So
you have like FOMO outside as well because you want to be there, and you're back and you're like, I'm not supposed to be here. What's going on? And then you kind of just have this weird feeling in your stomach to where it's kind of inexplainable only to the people that's in the show. And so you can't
exactly.
talk to your husband about it. You can't talk to your kids about it. You can't talk to your friends about it because they don't understand. They won't get it, and that's the hardest part.
Exactly. And I'm glad that you understand. Like I'm glad that you say all that because it's nice talking to somebody like yourself that like lived these games and lived the whole experience because it's so different for us. Nobody will understand what it's like. It was
Yeah.
just, you go through so many emotions, and like even coming back, trying to get back to your normal self, it's just so hard, you know? I mean, it's weird. It's just weird how that works.
Yeah, and you had, I mean, I'm sure you went in there and you had this vision of like, this is how I'm gonna do it. This I'm gonna make it to the end. The
Yeah.
money, like something's gonna happen of it. If I don't win, I'm definitely gonna be pretty far and pretty close to it. And when things don't work out like that, it's like, man, like you're kind of in a mental fog of just everything. And it's not the only easy way to get past that is them to let you back in the game, you know?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like,
Like, take me back. Take me back now. Like, I'm ready for the second chance.
exactly. So I mean, I definitely understand where you're coming from, where it took you some time. I mean, I spent the next when I got home, I spent 3 days just in my apartment, just nothing. Didn't want to talk to nobody, didn't want to see nobody, and just had
Yeah.
to get over it one way or another. And one way too is to talk to the people that was in the show. That does
Yeah.
help a lot. That's kind of like your own therapist. I think that helps way more than the therapist they offer, because the
Oh, yeah,
therapist is just gonna
100%.
say, all they say is you did a good job, be proud, you just got on the show, and like you don't want to hear all that. I don't
Yeah.
want to hear all that. I need to like talk with people that can really relate and help me just understand that it's all right. Like they're feeling bad too, and company loves misery, misery loves company, all that stuff.
Yeah,
And
exactly. Yeah.
so,
And I'm glad that, like, I keep in touch with everybody because it's just become like this huge family, and it's just like undescribable. That connection that we have with each other. It's like I would have never talked to some of those people had we not been in the game. Because it's like different personalities, and I just would have never like gone up to them and just started a conversation with them. So it's awesome, like the different people that you get to meet.
yeah, all aspects of life, different countries,
Yeah.
everything. And
Hmm.
so, what do you think is the biggest takeaway or lesson that you got from the show?
Um, the biggest takeaway for me is that I get like, I guess not everybody's the same. Like, not everybody's gonna think like me. Not everybody's gonna feel like me. That there are people out there that, and it sucks to say, but that there are people out there that really are like all about themselves, and that in games like that, money can really change people. It's just it just, like, I don't know, it's just crazy to me to think that somebody one moment can say you can trust me, and then the next moment it's like they do something else. Like I'm not used to that shit. So it's crazy to me how easily I trust. And maybe that's something that like I shouldn't do. Like next time, if I ever go into another game, God willing, I have another chance at something, that I'm not easily trusting people, and just playing with my heart. Like I don't know. It sucks to say because it's like that's who I am. But do I have to like play differently? Do I have to be different? That was my biggest takeaway, is just to see how different people were.
Well, I think the player in the game, when you're actually doing it and outside, can be separated to a degree. I think you should represent yourself well and like stand on your morals and values. But there are moments and times when you have to go against something that you said, and that's okay as long as you're doing it with, I think, dignity and some sort of class and not just acting a fool just to act a fool and you don't care about anything or anybody else, because as we can see in the show, karma comes back for each and every one of those people that
Yep.
do those things and act like that, not really the actions themselves. So
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. I agree.
well, you operated in great grace and fashion and represented you and your family and community amazingly. I know everyone, is big fans. I'm a big fan because I'm like, man, she should be still be in the game. You should be like, I thought you was gonna get the my edit, like I was like, oh, she gonna go far.
Oh. No, and I feel terrible. Like I see everybody, and my daughter too, she was like pissed, but it's like everybody's like, "Oh my god, poor Mark," which don't get me wrong, I love Mark. Mark and I talk, like all the time, but my daughter's like, "What about the girl that threw the ball to him? Like why isn't anybody talking about her?" And it's like, Netflix, they even did a whole, interview with me as to who I am and how I grew up and this and this. And I wish if they would have shown that interview, then people would have known why I did the things that I did, why I played the way that I did, why I threw the bottom mark. Like, I wish people could have gone to see like me and who I was. And so, yeah, that's one thing that I'm a little upset about. But yeah.
Well, you did great regardless. And, if people do want to follow you and hear your story and keep up with you, where can they find you?
So I am on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at Julie with the Goodness. Those are like all my socials. It's all the same. So yeah, I would love for people to follow me and just, continue to love up on me. So
And make sure to vote for her to come back for season 3, y'all.
season 3,
443.
because I'm ready. I'm
And she
ready.
ready to get back. She was taken out uncannily, and I'm ready to see her win that 4.56.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Julie, for talking with me.
Thanks for
And this
having
was
me.
great it was great to talk with you. If I'm ever down there, I'm gonna holler at you.
Yes, South Padre Island. That's where you got to come. So yes.
Okay. I hear you. Well, to everyone back watching, thank you for watching, listening, and until next time, y'all, peace, blessings, deuces. Have a great rest of your day.
All right.